In this video, I'm going to make zombies that rip you apart. They latch on and then you can't get them off and then you die, right? You get torn apart. Let's go ahead and hit the play button. We'll see what we got. Here's my zombies. Oh, no, I'm running from them. Oh, one latched on to me. And here's I got another one. You can see that there's like a little animation where their head is like gnawing on you. I thought that'd be pretty cool. See that? I was going to put like a particle emitter for the blood, but I thought that might be going too far. And then they just tear you apart. All right, let's go ahead and get started with that. So I have an empty base plate here. Let's go ahead and make our animation first for when they get on you, right? Let's go to Avatar tab, and then I'm going to go to Rig Builder, and I'm going to use R15. Let's use an R15. It'll work with R6, but of course you have to make it for R6. Let's get Mesh Avatar. That's pretty good. There we go. And then let's get the animation editor. All right, and then name our animation. What should I call it? Something like grasp or something. Zombie grasp. Oh, I gotta click on him. Zombie grab. That should work. And then let's make the action, set animation priority to action. And then I'll just go ahead and save it off. Let's get close, and I'll grab his. Let's do arms first. Let's move the arms up. How about 90 degrees this way? 90 degrees that way. Yeah. And then I'm going to move the lower arm in maybe 30 degrees. I'm going to keep it fairly symmetrical. All right, I'll move this one in 30. Straight. And then the hands too. Just kind of 1, 2. Whoops. Get the hand. Go blue, 1, 2, there we go. And then let me go ahead and lean him in, right? And the head's gonna move around. We're gonna change that. I'll just keep it. Let's put a keyframe on it. Let's go, boom. That I didn't even move it. I just pushed on it. And I got a keyframe for the head, so we have control of it. Let's move the legs up. Should go 60 degrees. Right, because we want them to like jump on them. There, 60 degrees. Maybe kick it out. 30. 30 will do it. There we go. 1, 2. Let's roll the leg a little bit because we want to hook his lower leg. 1, 2. That should work. Right, so I'm going to get that upper leg, and then 1, 2, and then let's get the lower leg. And then when we go and move this down, oops, get that lower leg again. That kind of hooks a little bit. Yeah, that should work. All right, now let's get those keyframes, right? And I'll copy them. Copy selected, right? They're all highlighted, copy selected. And then I'm going to do a Control V to paste at the 6th frame, Control V for the 12th frame, Control V for the 18th, Control V for the 24, and we're going to go out for a full second. Boom. All right. Now on the interior ones, let's go ahead and move the head. How do we want to do this? Want to move it in? Probably go back and forth with it. There we go. That way. And then this way, maybe move it down one. And then this way. Right, and then this way. That should work. And then put a little loop on it. Right. Yeah, there you go. He's eating nom. Cool. Let's go ahead and I'll keep it looped, but you can pause it, hit the 3 dots, hit save, hit the 3 dots again, make sure it's action for the animation priority, and then publish to Roblox, zombie grab. Then we're going to hit save. Cool, get that ID. Just click right here at the end and you'll see ID copied. Close, and then go up to your rig, hit the plus, hit AN for animation. Let's see, where is it? There it is, animation. And then animation ID under the properties for that animation. Just go ahead and do a Control V to paste that number. When I said ID copied, that's the number. You got to put right there. And then the Roblox asset ID part will be prepended when you hit enter. That's pretty good. All right, let's call this, call it like Munch or something. Munch. Now, in order for your zombie to be running around, we can close this. Go up to this animate script. Still a local script, right? I don't know why they do it, but it is. Go to your rig, hit the plus, get a regular script, right? And then we're going to call this animate. We're going to get everything from the local script that will only work for players, and this is going to be an NPC. We're going to select everything under the animate. I did a click and then a shift click to select everything. Put it in there. Just drag it up and put it under your animate script right there. Now open the little blue animate with the local script. Open it up, and we're going to get all this code. Control A, then Control C to copy it, or you could right click and copy. Control C or right click. Go back to our animate script that we added, the server script. Nothing in there. That's all right. Let's go ahead and highlight that print statement. Control V to paste, or right click and paste. All right, one thing we have to change in here, there's a reference to a local player. Can't have that. Here it is, right here at about 7:56. They might change that. So just do a search on setup emote chat hook, and then we're just going to get rid of it. If you let it in there, it's still going to work. It's just sometimes you'll get errors in the output window. That's annoying. All right, so we got that. Let's go ahead and we can get rid of that local script right here, the animate with a little computer on it. Delete. You can also keep it there. It's not going to hurt anything. It's just sometimes I forget to delete it. Sweet. Now what we need is our server script, right? Let's go to rig, and this is going to be for the chase and the latch on, right? We got to get another server script, I should say. Hit the plus on the rig. Script, and what should we call this? Search. I'm going to do a capital S. Search. Sweet. There we go. Get rid of that print statement. Let's get a variable for our zombie. Let's see. I'm just going to call him zombie. Local zombie equals script dot parent. And then what else? We need the humanoid root part of the zombie. So I'm going to call it Z humanoid because we're going to get our players humanoids too. So that's the zombie humanoid, right? Zombie and then colon, wait for child, humanoid. We'll do the same thing for the humanoid root part. ZHRP, zombie, colon, wait for child, humanoid root part. And I'm going to get the players service. So local players equals game get service players. And that's this service right here, players service. Sweet. All right, let's go ahead and select our search again so you guys don't get confused on which script I'm on. All right, so we got our players. Another good way of doing this would be to tag things you want the zombie to go after. That way you can even get them going after NPCs. And then use a collection service. It's very similar, but I'm going to go with players on this one. So let's do local function, find closest player. Let's pass in a distance of interest. So if the player's far enough away, the zombie won't chase them. We'll make a variable for our closest player. So local, and then CLO, closest player equals, it'll be nil until we find the closest player. It's possible that we're going to pass back nothing, nil. All right, let's do a for loop. Get our players. So I'm going to use this underscore because I'm not going to use the loop counter. That's the standard to put an underscore instead of like an I. And then PLY will be the player that we're going to get from our players when we get the players. So you don't have to use pairs anymore, right? They don't. You could just do it like in Python, right? A Python dictionary. Let's get a variable for the char for each player. So we have the PLY, that'll be the player, and then the character. Well, I want to make sure the character exists, so I'm going to do an if statement. And then I'll do local HRP. This is the character HRP. That's why we call it the zombies HRP, ZHRP. So we're going to do char, find first child, and then I'll do humanoid. That's a root part, right? Humanoid root part. Make sure you spell that right because you won't get an error. It just won't find it. Humanoid. I always get that O and the I mixed up. All right, we're also going to need the humanoid, right? So char, find first child, humanoid. Let's go ahead and move the code up a little bit so we have some more room. And check to see if the HRP exists and the humanoid exists and the humanoid.health is greater than 0. We don't want them chasing around dead humanoids. Now, if all these things are true, let's find out how far that player is away from the zombie. I'm going to do a variable, local, how about temp distance? Let's get the humanoid root part, HRP position. This is of the player. Let's subtract that from the ZHRP position. But you know what? We're going to get a vector. We want a scalar number. So we don't want an X, Y, and Z. We want a single number. What's the distance? To find out that, let's put some parentheses around this right here. And if I do magnitude, that's going to give me the distance. It's going to be an absolute value, so it won't have a negative number or anything. How far away? That's what we want to answer. So I'm going to say if temp distance is less than the distance of interest we passed in, that was just dist, right? Then, that might be the closest player. We got a candidate, right? We got a candidate. And so we'll make that the player. And then I'm going to say, hey, now my distance of interest is equal to the temp distance. Now, when I loop through again, if I find somebody even closer, they're my closest player. When I get through all the players, I'm going to have the closest player. So let's go all the way down to the end of the for loop down here. I'm going to move the code up a little bit. Well, here, let me start typing first so you see what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a return closest player right there. Here, I'm going to move it. Right, so it's right down here in the bottom if you guys couldn't see it because there's some ad there or something, right? So return the closest player. Now, we need to call this, right? We need to call this find closest player. Let's go down here. I'll make a little while loop. We are going to loop through, we'll say while true do a little wait. I like to do my wait first. Oh, wait, we're supposed to use the task. Remember, that's the newer wait. And you want to do a second, just do a check every second. You don't want to tie up too many resources. That'll work. And we'll do a local TGT player for target player. That's going to be the closest player. So we'll do find closest player. And then we're going to put our distance of interest. Let's do 200 studs. Make it pretty big. And then let's check to see if we got a closest player. There might not be one. There might not be anybody around them. We'll say if TGT player, let's go ahead and move this up again. We'll do print player found TGT player name. All right, let's try this out. We should start, our zombie should see our player when we enter the game and we're close enough. So view output, we are definitely within 200 studs. We look down here, player found, Simtech Gamer 7. It's firing off every second. So we got like 12, 13 times that it's found it, right? Every second. Let's go ahead and turn this off. And then we'll get rid of this output window. We'll go back to search and we'll add a few more things. We're just going to need 2 more functions, and I'm going to go to the top. Right? Let's do a function for the grab and the bite. So local function grab and bite will pass in the player. We'll get back to that. That's where we're going to put our animation and stuff. We still need to chase them. So I've done a lot of these chase functions. I'm just going to do a standard one. I'll say local function. I'm not going to use AI. They're just going to run right at the player. So you can block them, right? But we got to keep the video kind of short. So we'll say local function, chase player, and then I'll do a while loop, while true do. And let's get the character, local char equals player dot character. And we won't check to see that, we won't do the character added because we'll just check to see if it's there. If character is there, then we'll chase them. If not, we're just going to move on, right? We're not going to wait for the character. So we'll say local HRP char. We could do a wait for HRP probably. Yeah, why not? Wait for child. And then that'll be humanoid root part. And let's get the distance. Local distance. Well, it's going to be this. It's going to be similar. We did this before, right? So we'll do the HRP dot position minus the ZHRP position, and then we need that magnitude that I always get the spelling wrong. MAGNITUD. All right, we're gonna have to test that just in case I spelled that wrong. I guess I can just look in the other function. Well, let's say if the distance is less than 3. Right, they get close. Then we're going to grab and bite. Grab and bite, pass in the player, and we're going to break. Because in grab and bite, we're going to kill them, right? There's no way out if they get a hold of you. And we'll say else, we didn't get him, so we're going to keep moving. We'll say zhum move to HRP dot position. That's the character's humanoid root part position. And then we can actually put that second argument in there, and that'll keep them updating, right? If you put the second argument. Now, don't forget your wait, though, right? We have to do a wait. I'm going to move the code. There we go. I'm going to put the wait down so that it's still inside the while loop, but outside the if. So say task dot wait, and this one's going to be short, right? I'll do 0.2 seconds because it's not running all the time. It's just when we're chasing. All right, now we got to call this. Let's do a control C to copy chase player. And I'm going to go down here to my while loop down near the bottom. And then right under the print statement, I'll keep that there. I'll keep the print statement there. Do a control V. This player needs to be the target player. All right, let's try it out. We should get the guy. We should get our little rig running. There he is. Oh yeah, he's chasing. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Make sure there's no errors. Nope, no errors. I like it. All right, let's do the grab and bite now. So let's turn this off. Let's close the output. We're gonna go back to search. And then we already called our grab and bite. We just don't have anything in it. Let's go back up to grab and bite. I'm at the top, right? That's line 1. We're going to need a few more variables. Let's go ahead and add them. We're going to need one for our bite animation or munch or whatever you want to call it. Let's say I have bite anim equals zombie wait for child. I don't remember what I call. Oh, munch. Yeah, we called it munched. That's all right. The variable name could be different. They're close enough that you wouldn't get confused, right? Now, I want to get the animator from my zombie. I'm just going to do it once at the top. So I'll say animator. We can get the animator from the Z humanoid, right? Z humanoid. And then wait for child. Animator. What else? Ooh, we're going to get the bite track by loading the animation. So let's say local, and I got bite track equals animator load animation. Nice. And then it's going to be our bite anim, right? Bite anim. I know that's a little convoluted the way they load animations, but that's how it's done. Oh, and you could do a finish animation. We didn't do that. I want to keep this kind of short, so I'm not going to do a finish animation. I'm going to show you a little trick. Otherwise, when the player dies, it's just going to fall. And we can handle that. I'll show you how. On our grab and bite, let's do a local char. We're going to get the character from the player. Character. I'm going to move the code a little bit so I have more room. And then what else? Let's do our if char, then let's look for the head, right? We're going to grab a hold of his head. You can grab different body parts, right? So we'll do head equals char, find first child head. And then if the head, might as well just check, right? We'll get the humanoid from the char, right? That's the player that the zombie is chasing. So we'll say local hum equals char. You can do a find first child. We can do a wait for child too. Either one will work here, I believe. Yeah, let's do it. I don't feel like checking to see if he finds it. Let's do wait for child. And then we'll do humanoid. Did I spell that right? Humanoid. Yeah, there we go. I'm just going to do a weld, all right? So the weld is good because it'll put the pieces together. A weld constraint will be good if you want to kill the zombie and not kill the player. When you have welds, you get some funny things. If you have two characters welded together and you kill one, you'll probably kill them both. I don't know why that happens, but it happens now. Maybe they'll fix it while you're watching this, but I doubt it. I wouldn't hold my breath. All right, so local weld. We're going to make an instance of the weld. Instance new, weld. Right, and we'll make the zombie the parent. Right, and then weld, like weld constraint, has two parts. Part 0, and then we'll make that the zombie find first child. How about right hand? Right. I know I'm not doing any of these checks. Like if zombies are losing body parts, that could be a problem. So you might have to add some safety code. All right. For the part 1, that was part 0. So part 1, we're going to get the char, find first child, and then his head. Right. So the zombie's right hand is going to be welded to his head. And then we'll get our bite track and we'll play it. All right, that's when his head's going to be moving around and stuff. Let's do while hum.health is greater than 0, do. Now, this isn't going to kill off our zombie if we just reduce the health of the player. That's what we want, right? Zombie alive, player not alive. So we'll do take damage. And then you can just give them a damage, right? And then we'll say, oh, I did the old wait. Task.wait. The old wait still works, right? Maybe 0.5, right? Just take 10 points every half a second away. Then when we get down here, we will destroy the weld. We'll stop the track, right? Bite track. Stop. Is there a stop? There's the stop. All right. Let's play it. Now, when the player dies, he'll fall down, right? The zombie will fall down, but we're going to fix that. Let's just test this. Make sure we don't have any errors. Hit play, view, output. Oh, yeah, he's on him. Yeah, get away. See how I fell like that? I don't want him to fall like that. I don't want him to fall and lay down. I want to do something. Now, you can do a finished animation, but there's an easier way. Let's go back to our search script on our zombie, on our rig, right? And under the stop, I'm going to move the code a little bit here. Under the stop, let's get the current location of the zombie. So I'll say, how about Z position? That's all I care about. I'm going to get that from the ZHRP position. And then I'm going to create a new C frame for the zombie. ZHRP dot C frame. I know I should probably do a pivot to set pivot, those new ones. Anyway, these still work though. These still work and they're not deprecated. So I'll say, let's get a new C frame. We'll do the Z POS, right? That's going to give it a default C-frame at position Z. But let's just move them up a little bit. So we'll say vector 3 new, 0, 3, and 0 just off the ground. And then I'm going to say Z humanoid, right? I think this is pretty clever. Change state enum humanoid state type dot free fall. So it's going to put him in the air a little bit, put him in free fall, boom, he's going to land on the ground. Should work out. It might not work out every time. You might have to increase this a little bit, right? I want to make the fall as small as possible so it doesn't look like he's falling. It just doesn't look like he's falling down. Let's hit play, view, let's see if he falls. Look at that. He kind of rumbled right on his feet there. That's pretty good. All right, that's looking good. Yeah, our zombie is doing well. All right, I will see you in the next video. You got some zombies that latch on. And I think the one in the demo, I had one getting the upper torso. You can get the hand. Just match it up to different body parts. I have his right hand going into his head. So it actually looks like it's stuck in his head. But I think it looks good. All right, I'm happy with that. I will see you in the next video.